This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk through this 2022 Flagstaff E Pro model 20 BHS. Okay, so this is just a how-to video. It just goes over some of the highlights of the trailer. It's not a sales video or a floor plan video or anything like that. It's just a way for people who don't know how these operate, or people who are new to trailers, whatever. Just gives you some knowledge. So you have a power awning with LED strip. Your grill or griddle hangs on this rail right here. You also get a metal utility table that'll hang next to it. When you the griddle has an LP line that you need to connect right here to this quick connect before you can actually use it. So you got to connect it to the LP system. Keep that in mind. This is the vent for your range hood. So when you want to use the fan in the range hood, you open it so it flaps freely like this. Other times when you're traveling or in storage, you clip it shut like that. So just keep in mind, when you want to vent to the outside, you have to open that up so it flaps freely. Okay, outside speaker. Let's see what else. Your stairs, you can adjust the length of the legs by pushing this metal piece up and then sliding the legs up and down to get to the right length for wherever you're camped at for the terrain you're on. Okay. Now this is your hitch. It's a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that operates when you come to pick up your trailer. This is your power cord, 30-foot, 30-amp cord. Okay, we'll give you a reducer for that to reduce it down to a 15/20 also. Okay, you've got a power tongue jack. Now this power tongue jack can be cranked manually if it fails. You can pull this rubber plug off, and then it just takes a 3/4 inch, let's see if I can see one in there where it's at, but it takes a 3/4 inch crank or a socket on a drill, whichever you have. All right, that's your 3/4 inch crank right there. That's your nose wheel, your tongue wheel, and behind it you see the rubber hose. That's the hose for your grill. Okay, so normally this would have two deep cycle marine batteries wired together at 12 volts, and then of course there's a kill switch. Let's see if you can actually see it here. Hopefully you can see that is right in there. You only shut the batteries off if you put it into a storage for a long period of time. Otherwise you want them on. But this normally comes with two batteries. But for the customer wanted this lithium battery wired and put into the compartment, which it is. It's fastened down, and all the leads are labeled. And then this is a switch to power it down. But you probably know more about it, this particular battery, than I do, seeing that you bought it. But there you have it. Okay. So your water, to hook up city water, which is the most common way to get water to the trailer, just going to put the hose on there, turn it on, and everything will operate normally. Now if you go to a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsites, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here and then use the onboard pump to pump water. So even if you don't have city water where you're camping, you can still pre-fill this onboard water tank and have all the plumbing work as it normally. Okay, now this is the antifreeze inlet here. You have to research it a bit, but when you winterize your trailer, you're actually going to make up a hose. This is a garden hose fitting. Then you'll make up enough, leave a long enough hose for it to reach the ground. You'll put it into a gallon of antifreeze and then use the water pump to pump it through the trailer. But that's where that's done. Okay. Your fresh water drain for your fresh water tank is that white gate valve right there. Okay. I'm going to jump back here for a second and take a look to see what's what here. Okay. This is your black tank flush right here, right? You can see you can hook a hose. So you hook the hose at the dump station onto here, the water hose. The reason you do that is because this has, let me get down here so you can see, you got two tanks here. You got your gray tank, which is sink and shower water. You got your black tank, which is toilet water and waste. So you'll dump the black first, then you'll dump the gray to kind of use the gray to wash things out, and then after that you can leave your valve open on the black, turn on the hose and hook it to the port and turn it on like where I just showed you on the back, your black tank flush, and it'll spray out the inside of your tank, clean out the sensors, just clean it out really well. So if you're at a dump station that has a water hose, it's a really good thing to do. That's part of your tank heating system there. You can see that's one of the pads. This does have tank heating pads on it, okay? So while we're looking at this, just so you know, this particular type of slide out is called a Schwintek. It's owned by Lippert now, but people still refer to it as a Schwintek, okay? So in case anybody asks or you need to know. Okay, so you have storage here. You can put small bikes in here, whatever you want. This flips up, of course. You can see that. And you can store whatever you need to in there. Otherwise, it's a bunk with storage underneath. Okay, I think there was still something up here that oh yes. So this is that's where your plug hooks up, obviously, your shore cord. But you have your water tank here, the water heater. Now I want you to see that the switches to operate this are on the inside of the trailer, but there's one switch. Nope, this one does not have it. So I was going to show you the extra switch, but actually this one doesn't have it. So all the switches to operate your water heater are inside the trailer. It runs on either gas or electric. This is the gas valve, obviously. Behind this cover here is the electric heating element. There used to be a separate switch for it right here, but they've been changing it over and putting them all inside. So sometimes we see them with, sometimes we see them without that switch here. There, yours doesn't have it, so you don't have to concern yourself. The other thing is this is where you drain it. It takes an 1 1/16 6-point socket with an extension on it, so you can swing the bar or ratchet, and that's where you would drain it from. Okay, like I said, I'll show you the switches when we get inside. Okay. Now, this is pre-wired for a backup camera. You can see it would go right there. It takes a Furrion camera that fits in that housing, so keep in mind you can put a backup camera on. Also, you already have a ladder on it, which is great. The manufacturer states you should check the roof every 90 days. So you're going to go up there or have somebody go up there, check all the sealant, make sure it's good and tight, make sure there's no leaking, cracking, separation, and check the roofing material out and the vent covers to make sure they weren't hit or damaged by a low branch, something like that. So just every 90 days, give it a good look over. If there's an issue, take care of it immediately. Okay. So this trailer has solar panel. It has, there's your controller there, I will go over it. It has a battery converter right there. Conversion is turning AC to DC power, right? And then it has an inverter here, there's the button for it anyway, and that's the opposite. That turns DC power into 110 AC. 12 volt DC to 110 AC. So keep that in mind. Only one plug, I'm looking around the trailer, only one plug I'm sure is inverted, is probably this one right here. They usually have a sticker on it, but sometimes they don't. But you're not going to be able to run everything off the inverter. You're not going to be able to run the air conditioner, for example. That draws too many amps, it's too big. Usually a electric appliance you can run, smaller one, that sort of thing. You just have to work with it and see what you have. But when the battery is charged by the sun, of course, there's two ways it gets charged. The number one way it gets charged is through the converter, right? The converter is the one that goes from AC to DC. So right here you see regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're regular 110 AC and they're labeled. Right? Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here, and you can see you got 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled right here. Right? So it takes AC, turns it into DC power. It also is a battery tender, so it senses how much energy your battery needs, and it will it'll charge it accordingly. If it's topped off, it'll just trickle a couple amps. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs. So when you're plugged in, this is charging your battery. When you're camping, your solar panel is charging your battery. So I got this set for lithium right here. A is not going to do anything for you. B is the button that you're interested in. So we'll just go through it this way. Right now you have 13.1 volts. We're running strictly off battery now and solar panel. We don't have any 110 hooked up to it. Right now, because there's a tree over us, we're only getting 0.9 amps from the sun. You can see the picture of the sun with the arrow going towards the solar panel. We're gaining 0.9 from the sun. Then the next one is amp hours, or the battery's charged 90%. Then you have amp hours, right? And then back to the actual voltage. So this has 4 levels to it. The other one is the percentage. It's something actually new. I haven't seen it before. So it tells you how many, what the percentage of the charge is. So that the converter or the solar panel or your tow vehicle, when you're pulling it down the road, are charging your battery. Okay. I explained the inverter, which is the opposite of the converter. It turns 12 volt DC into 110 AC. If you want to convert something, you don't leave it on all the time, or invert something. I mean. So keep in mind you're going to run a hair dryer, let's just say, for example. It's plugged in here. Then you could invert by lighting it up by pushing the button. Right now it's inverting power. It's taking 12 volts from your battery, converting it over to AC power. Don't just leave it running all the time. If you're not going to be inverting, you just hold it for a second and it goes off. Okay, and there you have it. Hopefully I'm making sense to you as I go along. I've never really done it in this order, but maybe it makes more sense when I explain. You know, I don't know what your level is of knowledge of the trailer. Considering you had you must have done a lot of research, considering you wanted the lithium battery and that sort of thing. So you probably know all this stuff, maybe even more than I do. Okay, so next to the power converter, right, is the LP gas and carbon monoxide detector, right? So if it senses carbon monoxide buildup or LP gas, it'll go off, right? If it goes off, you take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, figure out what's going on, okay? Also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you your battery's low. So it's actually a low battery alarm. I'm going to set it off through this test cycle so you can hear it. LP is good, carbon monoxide coming up. Good, and then low battery alert. And back to green. It should always be green. If it's not, you want to get it serviced. Now with your lithium battery, you know, I read the manual and I went on the website of the manufacturer and looked at their literature, and it doesn't like to be totally, I'm sure you know this, it doesn't like to be totally discharged. And there's also a button that plugs into a data port on the top. It's like a button on the end of a data cable, and that can shut the battery down and put it into what they call shelf mode. So there might be a bit more maintenance or a bit more hands-on things when it comes to that with your lithium battery. Now, I wired it through the kill switch just like it normally is. So your 2 batteries normally, when you have 2 batteries on the front, they go through the kill switch, which is right behind the LP tanks. I showed you that. And if you turn it off, it kills the batteries. I debated whether to do it, which way to do it, and I just decided on keeping it running through the kill switch. So you can kill your battery by shutting that off. It'll just kill the draw to the battery. That's what I'm saying. So you can completely shut off the draw to the battery so you don't overly discharge it, because they warn against overcharging it, but mainly they seem to be concerned about overly discharging it. So keep that in mind. You can shut the battery off just by turning that switch. Alright. So your refrigerator is just a DC compressor refrigerator, I'm thinking. Suppose I should look at the tag here. Yep. Okay, yeah, so this you always want to keep this bracket holding the door shut, so it doesn't fly open and damage your doors. Now your microwave works like any other microwave. Remember I showed you that the range hood vents to the outside, so you want to make sure you open the baffle on the outside vent when your fan is running, so it vents to the outside. Otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose. You also have a light. Your range works on LP gas, and it has a sparker. So the sparker is all the way to the left. You turn it clockwise to spark it. Let me see if we got gas turned on here. I think it might be off. Yeah. Yeah. So your gas. Oh no, that's right. This one was you did not want LP in the tanks. That's right. I remember. So anyway, the bottom line is you turn the burner on, 3 burners, 3 knobs, and then you turn this clockwise to spark it. Okay. When it comes to the oven, you're going to take it to the picture of the pilot light and then depress the button or the knob. You depress it, keep it depressed during the whole lighting thing. Then you're going to spark it by turning it clockwise, and all the way down at the bottom in the back there, you can see it sparking under there. And that's where the pilot light is. So eventually the pilot light will light, and you're still holding this in. After it lights, you hold it for another 10 seconds or so, and then go to the operating temperature. Now, when you shut this off, obviously the flame goes off, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven, okay? Another thing is always put these lid down when you're traveling so it doesn't break. You can drop the table onto these 4 cleats and fill in the space with the back cushions, and you got another bed there. This is just a rod for a towel rack, and that's obviously a spatula. The door should clip shut because you want them to stay so they don't open during transit. All right, let me back up a bit here. Okay, so this is your control panel. You can use this app with this control panel, so you can download it from the Apple Store or Google Store. You look at your levels, battery's charged, fresh water's got a little bit of water in it, black is empty, gray is empty. As it graduates up in 1/3 increments, they light up, so once you get past 2/3 you got to start thinking about dumping the black and gray tanks. Of course, these are all your lights here, inside and out. To turn your water pump on, remember I told you could pump your own water, you do that. Also, if you when you're winterizing, you'll use this pump to draw the antifreeze through, okay? Light your water heater on gas, there, electric, there. Always make sure there's water in the tank before you turn on the heating element, because it'll burn out real quick if there's not. So make sure you've got water in there. Your tank heaters to extend your season, right there. Your slide in and out here, and your awning in and out here. Never leave the awning out unattended, of course. There you have it. Never leave it all off unattended because you want to, or leave it out unattended because you don't want the wind to damage it and, you know, get damaged by the weather. So make sure you always roll it in. All right, so that covers that. Now this also has another thing called a Wi-Fi Ranger. Right, you turn it on right here. It's on the roof. It's got an antenna, and then it's got a built-in router. So this sticker is important. So you look at it, it says network. So with all your device, all your family's device, you wanna look in the Wi-Fi section of your phone to see Tenton 1463. That's you. That's your Wi-Fi Ranger. So you put a password in for each one of the devices. Will load the password in there, so it'll connect automatically, right? Then to see what the Wi-Fi Ranger sees, you will go to this address down at the bottom in any browser. So you type that in the browser and go there, and then use the temporary password, which is Change Me Now 1463, which is in the middle, to log on. Now, the Wi-Fi Ranger is a Wi-Fi signal booster. It does a really good job boosting the public Wi-Fi. Plus, it has a built-in firewall, I'm told. But nevertheless, it's a very good signal booster, so you get much better public Wi-Fi. Now, it has a second feature that you have to pay monthly for. You would go through whoever you get your cell service from. It takes like a SIM card, and you would pay a monthly fee, and you would have cellular service through it, right? But most people just use the free Wi-Fi unless they're like working from their trailer, like some people do, that sort of thing. So, okay, so the top one is the name of your unit. The middle one is the temporary password to log on to the control panel, which is this address at the bottom. Okay, now your radio is AM or FM radio. You can stream off this USB right here. It has Bluetooth, so you can hook up wirelessly with your phone or tablet. AM FM radio, I might have mentioned that. Also, this HDMI here is an in. So if you wanted to go into the system with, let's say, a portable Blu-ray player or something, you could set it wherever you can set it, and then you could plug it in here, right here. Oops, I'm sorry about the camera work there, and you go right into the system that way. So you could watch videos, or for example, that's one of the possibilities. So okay, let me look around some more. I think I've covered just about everything. Let's get to the bathroom before I'm getting close to running out of time here, I believe, on this file here. So, okay, so the sink and shower work like any other sink and shower, except this thing has a device called a water miser, which is right here, right? Okay, so what this is a water recirculator. It just sends the water around in a loop between right here and your water heater, right? So the idea is, instead of just letting water go down the drain while you're heating it up, it just loops the same water round and round. When it heats up, this will change color dramatically. I think this one gets a rich blue, but either way, you'll know it's changed. So once it changes, you can just put it into regular operating mode here with the lever. It works like a regular shower. Now, the reason you would want to cycle the water around in a circle is because, first of all, some places have drought conditions, and you don't want to waste water. That's number one. Number two, if you just run the water out, just run it normally while it's heating up, it's going to come out of the shower and it's going to go down the drain and into your gray tank. So you'll be wasting space in your gray tank too. So this saves storage space plus water. And like I said, every component here has a website that will have manufacturers' videos, so you can go to their website and learn more about it, whatever you need to do. There's also literature in the packet up there. You maybe can see it on the bed, the brown packet. So there's a lot of ways to get information. It depends on how much information you want. This is a 4-speed fan with a cover on it. So you open it up, obviously. Pull this down to open it, and then you're just going to twist it like this and select whatever speed you want, like so. Okay, very simple. Just keep in mind, you always want to run the fan with the shower, because this tray was built super tight, so you don't want to create a climate in here where mold or mildew could grow. So whenever you're using the shower, you vent. Also, if you've got a bunch of people over at night, one night or early in the morning for that matter, but it's getting cool outside and you start to get condensation from people's breaths, that sort of thing, you run this while the people are in here and you'll never have condensation build up at all. So that's important to do. Okay, so last but not least, the toilet. There's the flush pedal there. The black tank is directly below. So you can't run this without water or without chemical in the black tank. So after you plug in and hook up your water, you'll come in here, you'll put one dose of chemical in the toilet. You'll stand on the pedal. Water, because it's hooked up, will come swirling around and go into the black tank below. You'll stand on the pedal till you put about a gallon or so of water in there. Some people use more, it's up to you. The bottom line is you got to have water and chemical in that black tank before you start using it, or the smell will be serious. It'll be a serious problem. You probably won't do it twice anyway. So anytime you're starting out with a black tank empty, you want to do that. Let's say you were going to stay at the campground for another couple of weeks, whatever, but you had to dump the black tank. After you dump it, you'll come right in here and repeat the procedure. A dose of chemical, a gallon or so of water. Okay? Alrighty. Controls for the air conditioner are on the air conditioner. There's going to be a thermostat here. Yeah, you have an analog thermostat. This model's been around forever. You want to click it here. You want to click it like that to the left to shut it off. Always listen for the click. But when you turn it on, it'll light automatically. It makes 3 attempts to light. It'll always light within those 3 attempts. If it doesn't, shut it off again till it clicks, and then flip it back on, and it'll reset it and go through the three attempts again. Also, there's a lag time. When you shut it off, the furnace is still going to run for a minute or two. It's got to cycle through, purge itself, do what it does, and then it'll shut down. But as soon as you shut this off, the flame does go out, but it's just going to keep running for a little bit, okay? Alright, so I think that covers it. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And please remember what I said about checking the seals on your roof and also on the sides. Any place you see caulk from the factory or sealant from the factory, you want to keep after it. If you see cracking or separation, take care of it immediately. That's very important. Also, use the correct stuff. You know, this is clear ProFlex for the joints, you know, regular caulk, and then the lap sealant on the roof is something called Dicor. So it comes in a caulk tube. It's a little bit, you know, it's about $9 or $10 a tube. It'll goes a long way, and it's not expensive. So make sure you keep up with that. Also, you know that it has to be winterized in the fall, so take care of that also. Okay, thank you.